Hi class, my name is Kai. I want to share a little bit about the foundational concepts of micro and macroeconomics, supply and demand, our circular flow of expense and revenue, and then GDP or gross domestic product. First of all, what is economics? According to the American Economic Association, economic is the study of scarcity, or in other words, it is the study of how people use resources and respond to incentives. So there are two types of economics. First, it is microeconomic, and the second one is macroeconomic. When Let's talk about microeconomic first. When you hear the word micro, I want you to think small because it is the study of individuals' decision, or it's small economic units such as individual, a firm, or industry. So for example, if you go to your favorite restaurant and then you order your favorite dish, unfortunately they are out of your favorite dish for that day. So you have the decision to make. You can either stay in the restaurant and choose an alternative from the menu, or you can go to a different restaurant and find your favorite dish. So that is an example of supply and demand. Even though you have the money, even though you're ready to eat, unfortunately, there's not your favorite dish is not there. So even though you have the supply, or even though you have the demand and you can afford it, unfortunately, there's not enough supply to meet your needs. And for business, for a company to successful, they must meet in the middle. The supply and the demand must meet. So that's called a market equilibrium, and that is an example of supply and demand in microeconomics. The decision that affect, and you can either enjoy the consequences or suffer the consequences. And the second part is macroeconomics. When you hear that word macro, I want you to think of big, because it is the study of economic, or it is the study of economic as a whole. So an example can be when there's a decrease in interest rate or inflation, it will affect individually, or it will affect the whole country. It will affect the whole company. That is why even though micro and macroeconomics sounds different, they are always influencing each other. So they're always needed and they always affect each other. And GDP, gross domestic product, is, in simple term, it is the national income. And how do we measure that? So in order to measure that, we have to know how much revenue, how much money do we spend to make a profits, and how much money we have revenue coming in, and how much money we spend to send products to other countries. For example, it can be a household expenses that equal firm revenue, and firm revenue equal firm expense plus profit, and that is equal national income. And that is how an example of how we can measure GDP, or gross domestic product. So to summarize, when you hear the word microeconomics, I want you to think of individual or small, and when you hear the word macro, I want you to think of something big or individual, economic as a whole. Thank you so much.